Welcome to the Freelance Unlocked Behind the Scenes series, where I'm showcasing the amazing people who will be at a Freelance Unlocked Conference, the first and the best conference for freelancers that is made with love, and it will take place in Berlin on May 14th, 15th, 2025. If you are a freelancer in Europe, it's an event made for you to learn, exchange experiences, and build your network of great freelancers and experts who move the freelance economy forward. So go to freelanceunlocked.com and grab your ticket right away. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Freelance Unlocked, and my guest is Julia Bandov, a strategic communications and ecosystem builder and a founder of MomsFounding, a community for aspiring and thriving mompreneurs aimed at bridging the gap in the ecosystem. So, hello, Julia.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I can totally understand how you connected with the freelance world, but still, how are you connected with the freelance world?
Yeah, so I've been connected with the freelance world for a long time. So as you said, I'm in communications for over a decade, and in this field, I guess you work a lot with freelancers. So over the years, I worked with so many freelancers, and at some point, over 5 years ago, when I had my kids, I realized that actually being a freelancer, having your own business, is something that gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility. I guess kind of that's the synonyms of freelancing. In a sense. And since then, it was kind of for me, I took a journey of trying to understand what it means and what it means to be a solopreneur or to be a freelancer, and took a deep dive into this and researched a lot those whole kind of concepts and how you do it. So, yeah.
What it means for you to be a solopreneur and freelancer?
So for me, I've started my entrepreneurship journey over a year and a half ago, when I left my VC job where I was head of platform, and my job was literally supporting entrepreneurs. So I was supporting 180 portfolio companies and really amazing entrepreneurs who are building a lot of cool stuff, impactful stuff. And I thought I want to do that too. So I started working on different projects, and during this work, I kind of realized that I'm missing a network, a community, a place of belonging. I felt so lonely because it's just you and your project. You work in a co-working space at home, wherever, but you don't have this kind of company office vibe. And I really miss that. And that's where really kind of also MomsFounding came to be. But I would say this was for me the turning point of kind of understanding, really feeling and experiencing this kind of solopreneurship like journey, and understanding that a solo journey is never good. You really need a community. So yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I have in Freelance Sucks podcast conversations, and I have had already over 90 conversations. And out of those 90 people, I would say only 3 or 4 told that they didn't feel professional loneliness as a freelancer. And those people were either founders of communities or members of communities. So that was their trick. So yeah, I totally get what you're talking about. And I'm curious, give me a sneak peek into what you'll be talking about on the Freelance Unlocked stage.
Yeah, so we're going to take a deep dive into the whole topic of being a parentpreneur, and the journey and what it means, especially in Germany. I think there are a lot of different things that are complicated, very bureaucratic, and also how do you cope with being a parent and running a business? Should you become a parent while having a business, or should you start a business while being a parent, and just talk about all those things? I think eventually we're all affected by it, and there are great ways to handle it and to manage to do everything and fulfill yourself. So that's what we're going to talk about.
When you started your solopreneur journey, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced while being both a founder and a mother?
So for me, I think it was really the fact that I come from the Berlin ecosystem, and I was really embedded in the startup and VC ecosystem, going to a lot of events, networking and meetups. And this really is not feasible for a parent unless you have an amazing childcare system support. It's really, really tough. So you need to really always kind of, it's a balancing act. You need to find, like, schedule everything, organize, make sure you can go to this event and that event, and then somebody needs to come and pick up the kids and take care of the kids. And at some point I realized I'm just running in a race kind of against myself, because I was just constantly overstressed. It was really, really tough. I had to always plan everything, over plan, and it was just exhausting. So at some point I thought there must be a better way. And that's kind of also where, as I mentioned, where MomsFounding came to be, because I was just thinking, as a mom connecting with other moms who are entrepreneurs or want to start businesses, how do you make it work? When do you meet? How do you meet? How often do you meet? Like, kind of define the premise for this to work for parents, to be feasible, and not this kind of like really cool events and a lot of, I don't know, like really tight schedules, but just really not feasible for parents to fulfill and be able to do it. So yeah, I would say that was a major challenge. And the other challenge, as I mentioned before, was really this kind of loneliness. I think it's really, really tough to do things just on your own, especially if you come from being kind of accustomed to working in a company, in teams with other people, and having this back and forth, having people to talk to, run ideas, and then suddenly it's just you sitting there and potentially using ChatGPT and Claude and all your best AI friends, but it's just you in the end of the day, unless you make really a conscious effort to go out and meet people and talk to people and get out of this kind of lonely bubble, I would say.
Yeah, so you talk about loneliness and also like children and taking care of them and kind of creating your twin to do all the things, to be able to go everywhere and to do everything. So I'm curious, what kind of support do the members of MomsFounding typically need the most, and how do you help them access it?
So for MomsFounding, a lot of the moms that I met through our community, there were a lot who were struggling with this kind of taking the leap into deciding to do their own thing. So, you know, you always have this kind of like security in a job versus fulfillment when you do your own thing and your own project. And I think that a lot of, especially moms, are afraid to take the step. And this is one of the major topics that we're discussing always and addressing. Kind of believe in yourself, do something for yourself, and really take a chance on yourself. And I think this is a major thing that nobody really thinks about or talks about too much. How do I make it? How do I start? Where do I start from? What does it mean to start a business? And actually, recently we've done an event in the end of January together with a B2B bank, Holvi, here in Berlin. And we had an amazing panel with the founder of Mika AI and other founders who were really amazing, sharing their experience. What does it mean to start a company? What are the bureaucratic hurdles of starting a company in Germany? Because we all know Germany is extremely bureaucratic and there are a lot of different things and it's a very long and exhausting process. When is the right time to go to the notary? What else do you need to consider? When do you get an accountant? Where do you find an accountant? Generally, the whole topic of cost accounting is really complicated and people are just really afraid of this. So I think there are a lot of different things that come kind of in the community and topics that are raised. And I think generally this kind of having the place to talk about those things openly, really rawly, and not feeling, I don't know, even stupid for raising those questions. How do I not know this? Gives people the safe space they need to come over and kind of come across those challenges.
No, it's interesting. I'm currently reading this book, Give and Take, by Adam Grant, and he was talking there inside about some kind of approach that usually women take when advocating for themselves. It looks like it's harder to advocate for yourself than advocate for someone else. And there were some researchers that when they definitely compared men and women. So men usually advocated for themselves easier, and women like, yeah, we still want to be like kind and soft. We don't want to hurt other feelings and all this stuff. So when they were advocating for themselves, their results were like lower than in comparison with men. But when they told like, hey, do not advocate for yourself, but here is your friend, advocate for them. And when they advocated for their friend, their results were even higher than men's advocating for themselves. And it's so interesting. I feel like this part of the community is exactly when you are supporting and helping and advocating for each other. Do you see, like as a community founder, do you see this kind of a power in MomsFounding?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that what you're saying is spot on, because women have this tendency to really kind of fall short, and the imposter syndrome, and especially moms, because think about it, like you take a break from life, you
Yeah.
create a human, you have to take care of this little human. That little human doesn't speak in the beginning, so you're kind of in a very different bubble of a world, at least for the first 6 months or whatever, depends on maternity leave and your situation. But then to come out of this and feel confident and be like all boosted up, and be ready to go and go for it, is really tough. And this requires a lot of work, and a lot of kind of work on your mindset and on your mental well-being, and just be able to kind of believe in yourself. And this is not a given. And I feel like it's often easier to find kind of a place in a collective group, in a community, where you can create this advocacy and not feel like it's just me against the world, but it's us together, because we share a goal and we share kind of values and the mission and what we believe in, and it's easier to do it together. And this could be, for me, kind of understanding that this is where it's coming from, this advocacy topic.
If you had the power to change one thing in the startup or freelance ecosystem for moms, what would it be?
I think that there is a big misconception about moms, generally speaking. People think that once you're a mom, that you're going to lag behind on work, that you don't care about work, that you're going to disappear or not be reliable. But actually, it's totally the opposite. Being a parent, being a mom especially, I think, just given the fact that you're like by nature the one taking care of the baby in the beginning, you build such crazy amount of skills, resilience, the ability to multitask on crazy amount of levels. You can do 100 things at once. You can remember schedules of everyone in the family. This gives you really a lot of advantages, actually. And I think this misconception that moms are not as good as dads, it should go away. There is also something called the parenthood penalty, the motherhood penalty especially, versus the dad's bonus. So moms are actually penalized for being moms. That comes across in opportunity to get work, jobs, either as a freelancer or an employment, promotions. And whereas dads, on the other hand, are being celebrated and get rewards for that. And that's just really unfair. And I think this is a problem for society. It's not a women versus men situation, but it's an us as a society who needs to come across this.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I feel like it's like from some kind of old ages when, men were going on the war and like they never come back, and women are doing all the things, and like men come back. Oh yeah, here's my kid, nice kid. Okay, and I'm away for the war again or something like that. But yeah, it's crazy. But and I also feel like when you are a mom, you really becoming much more effective, because when you are like not a parent, you have time. And you think like, oh yeah, I can do this. And then you have like those small 5-10 minutes in between, like, yeah, I can start this thing, I can do this thing. Okay, I will just do nothing for this 10 minutes. But if you are a parent, if you are a mom, oh my God, 5 minutes, amazing. I have a whole 5 minutes to do the thing. So you're becoming so much more, I feel like, better in understanding what exactly needs to be done, in prioritizing and effectiveness. That, yeah, exactly to your point, that it's an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there is no such thing as no time, but kind of priority setting. And I think as a parent, you learn this really well. It's just about taking your 24 hours, which you have 24 hours, I have 24 hours, we all have the same, and just choosing what you do with it and prioritize.
What's one small step to take for a mom who wants to start her own business?
I think one thing that comes across really often with moms is this kind of perfectionism, the sense that I have an idea, I want to start, I don't know, whatever, e-commerce business. It has to be perfect. I'm going to take a year, design a website, think about the concept, about the product. No, throw this out of the window. Just start. Take a step every day and do something. Don't try to make it perfect. It's not going to be perfect, not even in 10 years. Not even the biggest companies get it perfect. Just get started. I think that's the best thing you can do for yourself.
And I feel like it's a great advice, not just for moms, but for everyone. Just do it. Just start it. You will never like do the perfect thing like nice. There is no such thing that overnight success. You will make a lot of mistakes. You will go through like a ton of troubles, but it's okay. That's how you learn. So Exactly. You know, Julia, I wish to have the sky as the limit, but time is the limit. So the final question, what is your quick take on the freelance economy and how it will develop in the near future?
I think that it is very clear that freelance is becoming the way of working, the model of choice, especially after COVID. Everyone realized that the way we lived until then cannot continue. And people started traveling and people started working from different places and they really love it. And there is no reason not to do it. So I think the world needs to adjust to understand that freelancers are not just a small piece of the economy, because right now I think there's almost 50% of the workforce globally is
Yeah.
composed of freelancers. So there needs to be the bigger shift in the mindset of companies, of the whole economy, and support freelancers, because I think until now it has not been done so well, and it needs to be done.
Hopefully, Freelance Unlocked is one of those powers, one of those ecosystems that will help also to drive the economy of the freelance economy forward, at least something that we are constantly working on. And you are working on this too, since you are a founder of a community and also will be a speaker as a Freelance Unlocked. And last but not least, what would you say to your friend if they asked you whether they should go to the Freelance Unlocked?
I would say absolutely. I think that there are so many conferences. It's a very saturated space, but Freelance Unlocked is really unique because you have one space that's dedicated to freelancers and solopreneurs, and it's the best place to connect with like-minded people, and you will come out with very valuable connections. I think it will be really great, and I'm super looking forward to it.
And what is the best way to connect with you even before the conference?
Absolutely on LinkedIn. Otherwise, MomsFounding has also an Instagram account, so feel free to connect and DM. And yeah, really happy to meet and connect with people.
Julia, thank you so much for having this open and honest conversation and motivational conversation. And I can't wait even to learn even more from you at the Freelance Unlocked. And yeah, hope to see you very soon in person.
Thank you. It was great talking to you.
And for those who listen, I hope you learn from Julia's experience and say thank you to her in person at the Freelance Unlocked Conference on May 14th, 15th, 2025 in Berlin. So go to thefreelanceunlocked.com, grab your ticket, and meet you there.